Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Halloween. Have you ever thought about why you painted your bedroom neon green or hot pink when you were a teenager? Did you find it more difficult to sleep when your room was painted that color? When I think about design, I think about color represented with different shades, tones, and hues. Color changes based on the environment due to the psychology behind it. Today I'm going to inform you about the importance of understanding the psychology behind design. Everyone travels to spaces for specific tasks and functions, and being aware of the psychological factors can help you be more effective when completing those tasks. I spent time analyzing a variety of sources to understand why psychology has such a great impact on space design. In addition, my major of interior design studies these influences each day when I create my space as a hopeful designer one day. Specifically, I'll be talking to you about how there is a direct correlation between psychology and design, how the use of color and material selection impacts a space, emotionally and physically, as well as the science behind space planning and functional design. If science could help design professions justify the value of good designs and craftsmanship, it would be a very powerful tool and quite possibly transform the quality of the built environment, said Alison Brooks, an architect who studied housing and space and social design. The psychology behind space planning and circulation affects the interaction and functionality within a space. This is a tool to help provide and divide public and private spaces. This can also be used to encourage or not encourage the use of interaction in a space. This is also done with psychology behind every color that is used in a space. They work hand in hand together. Both concepts influence the message of the viewer. For example, a restaurant often uses these concepts for the color red. Red can be used to increase an appetite as well as stimulate the taste buds, so it is very helpful in that context. Overall, well-designed space incorporates the 5 senses with a variety of shapes and textiles throughout the space. This can be executed by implementing curvilinear forms throughout, specifically in round furniture, winding circulation done throughout the space, promoting the individual from one space to the next, as well as within the architecture. There can be curvilinear lines as well as arch ways to go under from one space to the next. A well-formulated design incorporates the elements and principles into the concept. The psychology of space planning affects the layout and circulation. The programming for a space is organized by grouping spaces with similar functions. It is crucial to plan spaces according to the function so the room makes sense and people flow from one space to the next easily and logically. There's a theory that implements these ideas called the Gestalt theory. This theory introduces the 4 laws: proximity, similarity, symmetry, and closure. A circulation path must show a clear direction from one room to the next, so it meets the needs of the user. Another theory is the paradox of choice, why more is less. This is a concept stating that users become overwhelmed with too many options. Throughout my studies and the advice of my interior design professors, from their personal experiences, have found that with clients, it is helpful to often give 5 different outcomes for design. They can often make a selection with 3, but having 5 is that confidence they need, just showing why it is important to have less options. In design, color acts as a key function that grabs the attention of the user, leading them from one room to the next. The psychology of color contributes to the mood and performance executed in the space. Each color found on the color wheel is associated with a variety of meanings. If you look at the color white, it exhibits purity and modernity. It can also exhibit the feeling of a cleanly space. While the color black is associated with power, it can make a space feel smaller. It is similar to the women's theory on the little black dress, making them feel more petite and confident. The color red gains attention. It is often used in traffic signals and for devices that need to promote attention and grab that from the user. Another color is yellow. It encourages learning and creativity and is also linked to happiness and inspiration. While blue evokes stability and safety, it can make a user feel content and satisfied in a space. There are a variety of studies that reveal the correlation to an individual's mood and how it impacts their productivity. It is best to decorate your workplace with a melody of stimulating hues that increase output and spark creativity. This can help a worker become more productive. For example, green and blue are more serene colors that have low wavelengths. It will help an individual gain focus and efficiency. While red is a high wavelength color and it can increase blood flow and heart rate. Yellow inspires creativity and innovation. It generates optimism and can be used in classrooms and workplaces. Color is something that is always around, and there is no escaping it. And understanding the role within the built environment can enhance the user's experience. Shapes implemented in design have the properties to aid social interaction. Shapes can encourage collaboration and communication in public spaces, and having circular meeting tables or dining spaces can give equal participation. Circles establish a feeling of community and unity. Most places used for gathering implement this shape. Materials also need to be considered in the space because textiles play a role when providing spaces for the 5 senses. Designing for the senses brings attention to mind and body, establishing emotional connections through stimulation. A sensory room is often something that is created for people with disabilities. It is called designing for the senses. It brings attention to the mind and body and establishes emotional connections through stimulation. For example, technologies can be included to turn sound into vibrations. This is a way for a person to feel them. For a person that is deaf, they need a replacement for equal opportunity to the space. This can help establish circulation memory. During this space, an individual can have universal design. In conclusion, I have talked to you today about psychology behind design, and I know that many of you have experienced a well-balanced design in a space that makes you feel your student life is easier. Functional design is something that meets the needs of the user. I've discussed with you how psychology influences space planning and circulation, the role color plays on emotion and productivity, as well as a human's response in a space, and the importance of incorporating the senses with a variety of shapes and textiles. I hope you have gained a better understanding of how your mood and productivity is directly correlated through the materials and textiles used in a space. I had limited knowledge of design before I came to Western to pursue my passion with interior design. My perspective was based on HGTV and DIY tutorials through YouTube. Effective design has a lot more considerations and factors that need to go, more than just the aesthetics. I hope you have learned to love interior design as much as I have, and it has sparked a sense of inspiration for you to pursue your passion. It is time for you to design a life you love. Thank you.